You are Locked On Trojans Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome to the Locked On USC Trojans Postcast on the Locked On Trojans YouTube channel. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Sorry for the delay, some technical difficulties, but hey, better late than never, right? And honestly, the way this one turned out in the end, I don't think we were in any big hurry to be breaking it down and talking about it all that much. I think we needed a little bit of time to kind of let it sink in, and it all worked out for the best. But the fact is that the Trojans here fought hard, played well at times, but in the end just didn't have enough to beat a better Oregon team. So I don't think they embarrassed themselves by any stretch of the imagination. As you guys know, I also cover the Chargers. This is not the Chargers' last performance against the Jacksonville Jags, where they got just obliterated. The Ducks were just better in most aspects of this game. The Trojans played well at times. It felt like they were closer probably in this game than they should have been. The Ducks kind of let them hang around, I think, down the stretch there. But when it all came down to the end of this game, the Ducks did what they needed to do to win. And those two main things were to slow down the Trojans running game, basically eliminate it. Let's be honest. They shut the Trojans running game down. They turned it off. The Trojans had no ability to run the ball. They kept trying. You got to give them credit for that. King Miller, 15 carries, but only 30 yards. That's an abomination right there. Jaden Mayaba, 4 carries for 16 yards, 52 on the day. Brian Jackson touched the ball 5 times for 16 yards. And you got to give the Ducks credit also for anytime the Trojans scored, the Ducks were right there to answer back. And, that made this kind of a, haymaker, blow for blow sort of game, where if the Trojans didn't answer, they really couldn't keep up. Give credit to Tanook Hines. He had a fantastic game. Really, without him, this game would have been pretty embarrassing. He had 6 catches for 141 yards and 1 touchdown. Jacoby Lane, a fantastic game as well, 6 for 108. But the Ducks really shut down Makai Lemon. 7 catches for 34 yards. If it weren't for Makai Lemon throwing a touchdown pass, I think we would think that, he was basically absent from this game in a cipher. Like, where did he go? He wasn't there. I mean, here's a guy that's just been almost everything for the Trojans. And I don't think it was because of the way he performed. I think it was because of the way the Ducks performed. The way the Ducks played, their game plan was like, don't let Makai Lemon beat you. And he didn't. No chance. I mean, they came out and shut him down throughout this entire game. Yeah, he threw a touchdown pass. That was fantastic. He had a couple of good catches, but in the end, I mean, it's just like, this game was fun to watch because the Trojans really did. They were in it right till the very end, about the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter, when the Ducks went up by 2 scores again. You thought at that point, okay, now it's over. But they were down 7, early in the fourth quarter, and you're like, well, hey, we just got to get a stop and get the ball back. Penalties were an issue. Not a big issue, but they had that bad series right in the second quarter, and that, just they couldn't overcome that, really, I don't think. Lincoln Riley talked about it at the break. It was a punt return for a touchdown from the Ducks. That obviously hurt. Then an interception. Jacoby Lane, an unsportsmanlike conduct after the touchdown there. Then they missed a field goal. And then, there was just a series of events right there that all kind of dovetailed into each other for the Trojans that there was just a little too much for them to overcome. Now, you could focus in on any one aspect of this game and go, that was too much for them to overcome and win this game. But there was ultimately too many of those types of things. You could find one and go, okay, if you stop, what's that guy's name? Kenyon Sadiq, right? You stop him, you win this game. 2 touchdowns, 72 yards. But he was just better. He was better than, well, I don't know about better than Tanook Hines, but he was there when they needed him. I mean, Tanook had 141 yards, so let's not overlook that. But Kenyon Sadiq with 2 touchdowns was absolutely clutch for them. And we have to acknowledge the fact, and I think this is probably, if you're extremely frustrated right now as a Trojan fan, part of that is because the Oregon Ducks were missing their 2 best receivers. So going into this game, they were down not 1 but 2 men. Noah Winnington, 104 yards, 19 carries. That, I think, is the other big factor in this game that the Trojans really, really struggle with, stopping the run. They just couldn't do it. Couldn't stop the run when they needed to. So all in all, it wasn't terrible. Specialty, this is a good point right here. Special teams literally cost them 17 points. How many points did we lose by? 14. So Jacoby Lane had a great game. So USC played well, fought hard. They fought on, to be sure, as Trojan Dale says, fight on. Trojans, the Red Fox. Trojans played well overall. They will have some young studs coming up. Oregon had 15 years on us and only won by 2 touchdowns. 15 years? I'm not quite sure what that means, but okay, yeah. They're a more experienced team. I think when you get right down to it, is the bigger deal here. And look, this Trojan team ultimately has had a good season, right? They're going to have a decent bowl game. Oh, referring to the sanctions. Gotcha. Okay. Ultimately, this Trojan team had a good season, and it's not over by any stretch, but they're not going to make it to the playoff. They have a 2% chance. Had they won that game, they would more than likely be in the playoff, which I don't know that any of us expected coming into this season. I think if you said the Trojans have a chance to get into the playoff heading into the final couple of games of the season, would you accept that? Would that be a positive season for you? Most people would say, yeah, it is. But I think we all got a little bit ahead of ourselves, a little excited about the potential as to what this team can do. Jaden Mayaba has had a fantastic year. Today wasn't great. He threw for over 300 yards. 25 of 43 is not great, but it's good. He did throw 2 interceptions, and both of those were bad passes. It wasn't like they were tipped balls that ended up in a Duck's hand. They were just not good. His quarterback rating, 95.8, which is a little surprising with 2 interceptions and 25 of 43. But 306 for 3 touchdowns, that's not bad. So it wasn't terrible. Again, they kept fighting. They kept battling. It just felt like you needed to get some stops, or more importantly, I think when you get the stops, turn them into points. That was another thing, that they did get stops, but they couldn't then respond and turn those right into points. They had an interception and then turned right around. Or no, they gave up an interception and then got an interception. So there was a lot of that sort of erasing, like, oh, there's a 15-yard penalty against the Trojans. The Ducks give up a 15-yard penalty. The Trojans give up an interception. The Ducks give up an interception. So there was a lot of this sort of 50-50 back and forth where the Trojans couldn't maximize anything. They would do something good and then do something bad to back it all up again. So ultimately, there just wasn't enough there. So we look at this, and I think we say, okay, all right, they were 10.5 point underdogs in some place. It would have been a huge upset for the Trojans to win this game. Coming in, I think we all thought it was possible. I mean, game day was there. Everybody was there talking about this game. It was the game of the day, without a doubt. But the fact is, when you don't have Makai Lemon, I mean, he was playing, but the Ducks basically nullified his effectiveness, and King Miller is not able to run the ball. It's tough to win this game. Give Tanook Hines a ton of credit. Give Lincoln Riley a ton of credit for making great plays or play calls, and then the team going out and executed. Makai Lemon, that play for Makai Lemon, the pass to Tanook Hines for a touchdown was just awesome. It was a ballsy call. I can't believe it worked, but it did. So that kind of thing shows you that the upside for this team moving forward is very good in spite of the loss today. In the end, the Trojans fall 42-27. After the break, we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the performance from the defense. At times they were good. This is another thing. They were good at times, but at times they were Swiss cheese. So if there was one dominant aspect of this game, it was the Ducks defense against the Trojans. That's how the Ducks won this game, by having a better defense. 42-27 the final. It's the Locked On USC Trojans postcast on the Locked On USC YouTube channel. I am Pete Fox. We will be right back to talk more about this game after I tell you about our sponsors. Hold on. All right, today's episode of the Locked On USC Trojans postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game, not to worry. You can ride the hot hand. If you come in, in the second quarter or at halftime and you look at your team and you go, oh, he's red hot, I'm going to jump on that action. FanDuel has live bets, everything from who will score the next basket to who will have a fourth quarter run or a fourth quarter comeback. And live bets are a lot of fun because if you know the team well, you can go, hey, I know what this guy does. I know his trends. I know his tendencies. So you maximize the knowledge that you have of your team and turn it into money. Plus, if you want to be really brave, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. But be careful with those because they can make you feel a little bit overconfident about how much you know. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making a late push. Right now, FanDuel gives new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first bet is a $5 winner. So you have to make that first $5 bet win, but generally beginner's luck will help you out there and you'll be just fine. So do your research, get that first $5 bet in, and if it wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by Game Time, one of my favorite apps when it comes to getting tickets. I know people call me all the time, hey man, can you give me free tickets? No, I can't. But I can tell you about Game Time, and they give you a fantastic opportunity to buy tickets at a very discounted rate. College football, of course, is back and heading towards the end of the season, and I couldn't be more excited about it. The tailgates, the rivalries, etc., the energy in the stands. There's nothing like it, especially when you are there. Getting tickets, though, sometimes can be challenging. The waiting in lines, the hidden fees, the prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. And the great thing about Game Time, among others, is that the longer you wait closer to tip or kick or first pitch or whatever, the bigger deal you can find. So if you're brave and you want to wait like an hour before the game and kind of go with the flow, you can save a bunch of money. And they also have views from the seats, which will show you what you're going to see when you get into the arena or the stadium. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go download Game Time today. So the Trojans fall to the Oregon Ducks at Autzen in Eugene, 42-27. Back and forth to start the game. That 3rd and 6 opening drive, complete pass to Jacoby Lane for 27 yards. That was comforting, right? That gave you some confidence right out of the gate. Mayava, to me, at that point, looked like he was running the offense confidently. Touchdown to Makai Lemon on a sweet swing pass, but really after that, Makai Lemon didn't have much to say about things. As far as the defense goes, I think this was a big part of the problem, and you could see it in the Oregon Ducks' first touchdown when Gentry got caught sleeping on Oregon's first TD there. They had 3 middle linebackers lined up in kind of a V diamond shape right behind the line, and Gentry was just standing there sleeping. And the touchdown happened without him being involved. You could see him kind of try to second guess at it, but it was too late at that point. And it was one of those situations where you're like, what was he doing at that point in time? Or what was he looking at? Or what was he thinking? Gentry's not a guy that we criticize all that often, but he clearly, I don't want to say if he makes the right play there, he saves the touchdown, but he clearly got beat there on the Jordan Davidson 11-yard run. He was not, he was guessing another way. He was watching something else. It was just kind of a microcosm of what the Trojans defense was going to be like all day. Good, but not good enough. And you look at the numbers from the defense, it just felt like, yeah, they got beat on a regular basis. When you look at what Oregon was able to do running the ball for 179 yards, when they were only able to put up 52, it's just not enough. Obviously, Kamari Ramsey not being in the game was a huge absence for them. I mean, that guy is kind of the heart and soul of this Trojans defense. But Desmond Stevens, 17 total tackles, 11 solos, and 1 TFL. He had a fantastic game. Kennedy Urlacher with an interception was also there to play today. He had 9 total tackles, 8 solo. Christian Pierce, 9 total, 5 solo. But there was just a lot of missed assignments, and ultimately on the defensive line, they were not able to slow down the Ducks running game, and they just have to be better. You gotta just tip your cap really at the end of the day when you look at this game and you say, yeah, the Trojans played well, but they didn't play well enough. They were close, but not close enough. They were in this game, but it was just constantly an uphill battle, uphill sledding the whole time. Trojan Dale says Urlacher has to go. I'm sorry. Totally misread that, Trojan Dale. I apologize. He said he has been good. He missed the D on good, and I assumed he was saying that Urlacher had to go. No, yeah, he has been good. He also says that we haven't had a decent punt or kickoff return since we've had Branch. That's true. They didn't do a whole lot on special teams either. Missed field goal, that hurt. I don't know that changes things. At that point, that makes it a 10-point ball game at the break. Sure, maybe it's a little better, but I don't know. Anything's possible. It would have been good to see that field goal go through, but I don't know that they win the game if he makes that field goal. Obviously, the special teams was not great, but I don't think that's the reason they lost this game. The inability to stop the run was a big part of it, and their inability to run the ball. I mean, that's what it boils down to. They kept trying. 28 touches. They kept giving the ball to King Miller. 15 carries for 30 yards just isn't good enough. When the Ducks ran it for 179 on 41 carries. Dante Moore, 22 of 30. 257, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Again, Mayaba threw 3 touchdowns for 2 interceptions, though. That was also detrimental. So there was just, for every good thing the Trojans did, they did 1.5 more bad things. And I think that's what this boils down to. So we look at this game and say, hopefully they learn something from this. Hopefully they can build on this. And hopefully they finish the season strong with a win over the UCLA Bruins to wrap it up next week. 8-3 is not a bad season. They've been very good in the Big Ten. They have improved dramatically over where they were last year. Jada Mayava is considerably better. Their strength, they went into a whole stat about how many pounds the Trojans team, offensive line across the board, gained this year. It was like 800 pounds of weight the team itself gained going into this season, which is what they needed to be stronger, tougher, more physical, and they have done that. So that's a positive for them. So there's a lot of positive things. Things are looking up for USC in their second year in the Big Ten. So tough loss today. Would have been nice to get to the playoff, but they'll have a decent bowl game, and hopefully they can take care of UCLA and finish this season strong, 9-3. That's going to do it today for the Locked On USC Trojans postcast on the Locked On USC YouTube channel. We appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you listening. And of course, we appreciate the comments as always. I am Pete Fox. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will talk next week. Have a good